Good evening and welcome to our virtual Year 6 information evening. My name is Andy Sprakes and I'm the principal of both XP and XP East. Actually, I'd like to start by debunking a number of myths about XP and then I'll focus on what we actually do at our amazing school. So, here goes. Over the past 8 years, these are some of the things that have been said about XP. Some people have said that we're a special school. Well, I can guarantee you we're not. Others have suggested that we're a private school where you have to pay for the privilege of coming here. Well, again, nothing could be further from the truth. We are a state-funded mainstream school. Others have suggested that we're a behaviour school where students who can't cope with mainstream education end up. Again, that's not true. Others have suggested that we're a vocational school or an outdoor adventure school. We're neither of those two things. We don't just focus on using our hands at XP and we don't go outdoors all of the time, even though those are two important things in our curriculum. Others have suggested that we're a small school that has lots of nurture groups and supports students one-to-one. Again, we don't do that. So, what is XP? Well, we're a school that has an academically rigorous standards-based curriculum. We teach through learning expeditions that are multidisciplinary and cross-subject. These expeditions result in beautifully crafted products like presentations of learning, performances, published books, educational resources, art exhibitions, science reports, and many, many other products. We teach our students in mixed ability classes of 25 who work collaboratively all the way through the school from year 7 to year 11. We're a school that is outward looking and that engages with experts to enhance the learning of our students. We're a school that takes students out on field work where we study and bring this learning back into the classroom. We're a school that impacts positively on the local, wider, national and global community. We're a school that ultimately has a relentless focus on character growth, creating beautiful work and achieving academic success. One of the standout aspects of XP is the way we deliver our curriculum. Our students engage in cross-curricular learning expeditions that enable them to be activists and positive agents for social change, to develop their leadership skills and to recognise the need for equity in our world. I'll let Deck and Garage, two of our students, explain this in more detail.
So expeditions are kind of the topics that we have at XP, and you have different expeditions every term. They normally last a term, and in these expeditions you have 3 case studies which are the mini topics in that expedition, and the expeditions normally finish with a final product which is a product that students have made. So this could be a documentary or a physical product that you've made in the workshop, or a play just talking to the public. That could be a product.
Yeah, in the expeditions we quite often go out on field work and things like that to try and immerse ourselves in what it really was or is like, depending on what the case study is or what the expedition is. We talk to people that come in that know more about it than we do to get to know more information, more things about it. We also normally read an anchor text, so depending on, this will always link into the expedition depending on what we're doing. So that's one way that we can all learn from how it was, because this book could have been written 100 years ago or something, and then we can understand how it really was like then.
And through the expedition we strive to answer the guiding question, which is what you get at the start of the expedition, and then throughout that expedition you have to figure out an answer to that guiding question that links to your product.
So an example of this was an expedition that we did in year 7. We did It was called Colour the World with Kindness, and the guiding question was what makes a successful community. In this expedition we went to the Age UK in Armthorpe, where we met the elderly people and spoke to them, and they were talking about how their life stories and things like that.
For the final product of this expedition, we made kindness boxes, which we gave to the elderly people that we were assigned, and then we also wrote monologues from an elderly person's point of view, which we presented at our presentation of learning, which is what we did at the end of the expedition. Most of our expeditions connect to the outside world and focus on bettering our community, which is what we did, especially in this expedition.
At XP and XP East, our latest expedition in Year 8 focused around the guiding question, why should we care about migration? We've explored the concept of migration and the pros and cons of migrating to other countries. We have also analysed various reasons as to why individuals migrate. The title of this expedition was, Should I Stay or Should I Go?
We have been on a journey with our expedition, Should I Stay or Should I Go, but not a physical journey of thousands of miles like some of the people we've been able to meet. At the start of our expedition, we tried to find out as much as we could about migration, asking questions such as, what is a migrant, what are the different types of migration, and what leads people to migrate.
To build a picture of the historical context of migration, we began reading Of Mice and Men by John Steinbeck. This led us into a discussion about why people were forced to move in 1920s and 1930s America. We learnt about the Great Depression and the 6 main causes, including the Dust Bowl, agriculture, and the Wall Street crash. Studying the characters of George and Lenny, we learnt to develop an understanding of why people migrate.
At this point, we wanted to bring the expedition a little closer to home. We started to examine migration in modern society, particularly in our hometown of Doncaster. Our research led us to a charity called the Conversation Club, an organisation which offers a place to meet and integrate for those seeking asylum who have been housed in the Doncaster area. They provide English teaching, health guidance, cultural orientation, comfort for those in need, and so much more.
Some of us were lucky enough to visit the Conversation Club and get a feel for the place and get to know the people who go there every week. In our short visit, we learned a lot.
I found that really shocking because I wouldn't like to do that and just leave my family.
They were very friendly and they felt comfortable answering our questions.
You'd never really hear a story from that, from a regular person from the UK, but the fact that it's an actual human being that's have to face through all these hardships at once is quite scary.
And after I came here, I called my family through Red Cross. And it's okay. Here is very, very good town and very helpful people. Nick, Julia, John, Dennis, very helpful. And they help us in many ways. To speak English, because it's important to speak English, and to have journey and trips, and one day they organize barbecue for us. It is very nice day. And also there is English class. I knew many people, and there is activities. Like playing, like chatting, like I have a sense of belonging to this town. It really helps me. It's okay, it's good. Now I'm okay.
We also spoke to Nick from the Conversation Club about how he felt the experience was for our visitors.
Well, for me, I'm always delighted to be able to come and help the children experience, or at least meet some of the asylum seekers and put a human face to a problem that is generally a very third-party kind of thing, and it is distracting them totally from their problems of trying to live on £37 a week in very poor quality accommodation. £37 a week, we've got no money for any kind of entertainment or distraction. So they sit in their rooms with nothing to do all day for months and months on end.
Talking to the migrants was an eye-opening experience, and we learnt a lot during the short time we spent with them.
It's all right looking at like photos and like hearing stories of that, but when you actually speak to them, it's like different.
During the time we were fundraising, we also decided to do something a little different. After hearing Nick's reaction to their first visit to the school, we invited our new friends back to the school. They'd been kind enough to share their stories with us, so we decided to do something fun for them. We prepared 2 sessions of games and Minute to Win It competitions to play and had such a wonderful time.
As the expedition comes to a close, what happens now? Of course, we'll keep in touch with our new friends. We'll continue to do our best to understand and support the community around us. But most importantly, we'll carry their stories and experiences with us for the rest of our lives. Because migrants are people, just like us, with families and hopes, with stories that deserve to be told.
So, as you can see, we make the knowledge we learn at XP and XP East powerful because we do something purposeful with this learning. We create authentic and beautiful products that make a positive difference to the wider world, our local community, ourselves and each other. For example, we've published books working alongside local nature reserves to celebrate and improve and protect our environment. We've written history books about the community of Doncaster and how the miners contributed to that, and the railways. We've worked with the NHS to celebrate and promote their important work. We've produced other historical books about the Vikings and sold them at the Viking Festival in York. We've worked with museums and universities to celebrate the rich history of Doncaster. We've also worked with Age UK to bridge the gap between the young and the old. And our students have had their creative work displayed in art galleries, museums and art centres, both locally and nationally. In short, our curriculum focuses on 3 really important strands. We allow our students to learn about the climate disaster and what we need to do to tackle this crisis. We work with our students on the concept of social justice and how they can become positive social agents for change. And we focus as well on diversity and belonging. We're kind to each other and compassionate, and we want our world to be a better place because of this.
Hi, I'm Karina. This is my 3rd year here as I'm in year 9, and PE is one of my favourite subjects because we have a lot of opportunities to do lots of different sports such as football, badminton, table tennis. We're really lucky at XP because we've got loads of different facilities such as the sports hall, tennis court, the 4G and the athletics track.
So after school we have extracurricular activities where we can do sports such as cheerleading, boys football, girls football, netball, lots of different ones, and during that we've got a few fixtures coming up soon.
In year 9 in Common Mission we get a choice of BTEC Sport for our GCSEs, which in year 11 that would be our GCSE to do for BTEC Sport.
So recently we've been enrolled in a game of our own, and in that we support other girls and try and get involved in football and try and empower them to get more into football. There's a group of us who are planning to lead an event that can get more girls into doing football and extracurricular activities.
So this year in Year 9, our guiding question is ¿Cómo me conecto con el mundo? Which means...
In English, that means how can we connect the world?
The expedition is literally just about the different medias, how we can talk about our favourite films, our favourite what we like to listen to, music, and it's just basically different types of media, how we can learn it in Spanish, how we can say it in Spanish, and how we can understand it. So we build from from Year 7 we start with the basics of Spanish, like how to say my name is Olivia in Spanish, and we build up every single year, and the more that we build up, the more that we learn, and by the time we get into Year 11 we should be pretty fluent with our Spanish, and it's a great way that we get taught here at XP. In Year 8 I remember we learned how to say different types of clothes in Spanish and food.
The morning routine, which is in the office right now.
Yes, morning routines. I think Spanish makes us a better speaker because it's a whole other language that you learn, and I think is a great way to building confidence, and it definitely works well with how we work here in XP.
I'd say that Spanish has made me a better speaker because it's you can find cognates in words, so if a Spanish word looks like a certain word, then it might be that certain word, and it's easier to understand Spanish in that way.
It's the language that you learn, it just it builds your vocabulary a lot more, either in English or in Spanish. Whenever you go somewhere, especially Spain, on the Spain trip that we go to every year, it's definitely a great way to learn Spanish whenever you actually go to Spain. And it's a great advantage whenever you're there, you hear Spanish, you read Spanish, you see Spanish everywhere. And it's a great way to learn because some people are more visual learners than hearing Spanish. They see pictures, they read things, etc. I think it's also because I know that there are a few jobs where it's very good to know another language, because you never know whenever you might come across someone who doesn't know English, and if they know the language that you speak, then if they need help, say, because I'd like to be a police officer whenever I'm older and I get a job, and knowing Spanish might actually help me save someone's life one day, because they might not know how to speak English.
We use our devices, so we have iPads and laptops, and some people bring MacBooks and their own iPads. Espanol Extra, we use that to help us. It's little games, and it actually helps you build up on your confidence with the Spanish words.
And as well, whenever we're in lessons, Sir has slides up on the board and worksheets and that we can work on. And like Charlie said, we have laptops and iPads with apps and websites that we can go on to. Yeah. In a way, we take control of our own learning whenever we get into Spanish. It's just because sometimes people might be able to learn visually, hearing stuff, seeing stuff, but then some people might have to read something or work on a worksheet to understand it. So, because I know that you learn things in different ways, not everyone's the same whenever it comes to learning. It's the way that we learn is definitely, it's not just with Spanish, with any other lessons. The way that XP teaches us is a lot different to other schools, a lot different. But in my opinion, it's a better way to learn. And I just think that whenever you come to XP,
you benefit from the way that they teach us like a lot more than any of the schools. So you're not going from history to geography to maths to science. You actually learn. You actually have an expedition. You learn all of that, and it just sticks with you well. And it's a different way to learn, which is a lot better than any of the school I've been to.
Our trust in schools' provenance is in the Outward Bounds movement, which can be distilled into one quote from Kurt Hahn, the founder of the movement. There is more in us than we know if we could be made to see it. Perhaps for the rest of our lives we will be unwilling to settle for less. We've seen that when we ask students to create beautiful work, that it is beyond what they dream possible. Then in turn they will develop their character and see academic success. As adults, we are judged on the quality of our work and the content of our character. For that reason, our character traits are not words on a wall. They are lived and breathed in every lesson, every day. Let's hear from our students.
So Outward Bound is an international outdoor activity provider set up around World War II by Kurt Hahn, basically with the Navy, hoping to build resilience in sailors. So our Year 7 students go on an Outward Bound expedition as soon as they arrive at school. They go for 4 days and take part in activities such as canoeing, climbing, they do a jog and dip, they camp out generally one night, and all these are basically their experiences that a lot of kids haven't done before, and the reason for that is that these experiences, they allow our children and our staff to explore themselves through debriefing the activity. Generally, you often find there's fallouts, there's people that get stressed, there's anxieties. There's their crew leader who can help them to facilitate debriefs and reflections on those occurrences. And that's what's important. That's what we want them to bring back to school with them.
I think it was Tuesday. We went from the Outward Bound Centre, we drove a bus over to this spot, and then we canoed to across the lake over to this other spot, which was just completely across from the Outward Bound Centre, which was stressful to say the least, but we got through it. The crew encouraged everybody, and we managed. And we arrived at this place, and because it was hot and everyone was stressed out and didn't want to, hike up this really tall mountain, we set up camp really close to where we landed. So that was fun.
We went hiking up a mountain and camping, and then the next day we climbed back down, and then we did a rowboat, and we were all struggling to row, and we had to get in the same rhythm of rowing the boat, and it was so tricky, but we all got there as a crew. And then after that we went cliff jumping, and it was so fun. I think that was my favourite thing, and we all encouraged each other to jump off, and even Miss Watson did it as well, and some people went from the lowest ones to the highest ones. I did that, and it was really fun.
Tuesday we climbed up the mountain, which was terrible. It took a long time, and in the heat as well. The heat was terrible. It was so hot. But even though we all struggled, we all managed to get there in the end, which was really good because we were all supporting each other. Some of our crew members were struggling to get up the hill with their big bags. Some people even carried 2 bags. It was incredible. But I think that's what really matters with the crew, just supporting each other.
We were walking in, we were all linking arms, and we were walking in, and then I was really scared, so we kept going in, and then we had to go under, but I didn't want to do that because I was really scared about it. but yeah, my crew was like really supportive over it and really nice. So I was quite scared, and all my crew was cheering me on, and I really thank them for that, because when they were cheering me on, then it made me want to like go in and just do it, really, and it's quite scary, but yeah. And I really enjoyed it.
It's just family, like crew is family, and it's just making special bonds with people and getting along, making new groups of friends, and it's just family.
So being crew, even if some people aren't your friends, you can obviously like be their friend, but also crew, like no matter if they're not really your best friend or whatever, you can still be like their friend and support them and help them.
Yeah, the reason why we would do Outward Bound things is to like build relationships with each other and make ourselves more confident with our learning, and like to know if you know your crew and your crew will help you out, you'll learn better and you'll like develop your learning to the highest standard if everyone's helping you out, which is what crew's for.
Back in the classroom, the experiences that they've had in Outward Bound hopefully will impact on their on how they interact socially with their peers and also with their teachers. So when you're on Outward Bound, if you're struggling to get up that mountain with that massive rucksack on your back, you know, we find other kids will be running back down the mountain, picking up that rucksack and carrying it up for them and supporting them. So when we're back in the classroom, what we're wanting to see is, and what we're hoping that will happen, is that those children that are finding maths easier and are enjoying that they can then help and support maybe the students that aren't achieving so well in maths. I mean, I take a lot of students outdoors, outside the classroom during the week, and I can see the benefits instantly. A lot of them seem a lot calmer when they're outside. It seems to lift their spirits a little bit. You know, as we know, there are children that just cannot sit in a room with four walls around them all day long, and to be honest, why should they? And so for me, as lead for the outdoors and as lead for the year 8s, it's my job to get kids outside as much as possible.
Here at XP, we're a small community and we strive to create a group of independent individuals who are university ready.
At XP, we all have a common goal, which is to get to the top of the mountain. It's basically a metaphor for us all achieving our goals and megs, and we all do it together, so if someone falls behind, we don't just leave them, we help them achieve what they want as well.
On the first week, we hardly knew anyone here, so we went to an Outward Bound place in Wales, which we learned to bond with people that we'd never met before.
Every morning we have a session called Crew. Crew is all about bonding. So say on a Monday, we talk about a weekend and problems that we've had over the weekend so we can deal with it in Crew. Crew is a bit like forms, apart from we think it is a bit more family-like rather than just friends put into a group. Also on a Friday, we do games day, whether that's baking or we play dodgeball with our mates and generally just like relaxing, getting ready for the weekend.
At XP, we have 5 character traits: courage, craftsmanship and quality, compassion, respect and integrity.
Courage is pushing yourself out of your comfort zone to achieve more, both mentally and academically.
Craftsmanship and quality is the foundation of our learning. We use it in our academic research and in fieldwork. This allows us to be young professionals and create outstanding quality products.
One of the 5 character traits in XP is compassion, and we'll stick by that because it means that we'll help everyone to achieve their goals, we'll help everyone to get through things that they need to, because in this school we're not just like a school, we're a whole family.
Respect is something that has to be earned, and here at XP we all have respect for each other and show kindness and consideration.
Another one of our character traits is integrity. Integrity is doing the right thing and telling the truth. Here at XP we base our lives on integrity. Every Friday we have a community meeting, which is where we get a chance to apologise and appreciate people of what they've done over the week. We use integrity because if we apologise to somebody, we make pledges, which is using integrity because we have to stick to the pledges that we've made and we get held accountable to the pledges.
As a community, we strive to live by these character traits and make a trustworthy and comfortable environment for all.
We learn through cross-subject expeditions which combine different subjects and produce a product which benefits the community.
The most common times this come into play is humanities and STEM. STEM is a combination of science, technology, engineering and maths, whilst humanities is geography, history and art.
At the end of every expedition we do a presentation of learning to showcase our learning to our parents and to try and develop our public speaking skills.
Instead of a parents' evening, students at XP present a personalised student-led conference. While presenting a student-led conference, we are free to show opinions and reflections. We can also show courage because if we haven't met our minimum expected grade, we can show this to our parents.
So we also have something called HOWLS, which stands for Habits of Work and Learning, and it adds to our culture on top of our character traits. So they are work hard, get smart and be kind. So to work hard, we make sure we do our work to the best of our ability and do as much as we can, but with the quality still in there. And this helps us to get smart. So to get smart, we listen to the teacher, write notes, and do our homework on time, so we definitely know where we are in our work. And to be kind, we always have a positive attitude towards our peers and teachers, and these become like a culture at our school, and they follow us around even outside of school because they've just become part of our personality.
We've seen behaviours in our children that we would never have thought possible before starting our schools. The compassion, courage, integrity of children, when given a voice and a safe environment, is wondrous. Visitors are often moved to tears when watching our community meetings, where students can appreciate each other, apologise for their actions and make pledges to put it right, and make stands for our character traits. You heard the students there talking about our character traits, but also, importantly, a community and a common mission. Our students know that their mission at our schools is not just to ensure their own success, but to make sure that everyone gets to the top of the mountain. This is why the first day at school for our students is literally climbing a mountain. This is what it means to be Crew.
How do we know we are improving the lives of children? We do it by looking at the quality of relationships, and that is the key to a good school.
If you are going to make any difference to young people's lives, is you've got to know who they are.
A good relationship enables me to teach. I mean, it's the underpinning of everything.
We were drawn to the work of the XP School for a number of reasons. Many schools across the United Kingdom take young people away during the year, but this is the first school I'd met who took every child away in Year 7 with new staff at the beginning of the year.
Welcome to your school. Right, get on a bus, off. We're out to Outward Bound. We're taking them out of their comfort zone. We're taking them out of the environment they're aware of.
We're all in this together, and we are all in this together. It's not a platitude.
For us, in the Outward Bound trip, was to learn what real friendship is like and how to bond properly with teachers.
It's a very closely forged group of people with a purpose. We support and challenge each other. That's what we do.
Their belief was that you can't begin to develop a learning community until students and staff really know each other.
By climbing the mountain, by climbing the rocks, it just builds their character as a whole group.
Go and explore, go and be curious.
It's not an outward journey, it's an inward journey.
Often it's when you can't do things or when you're struggling most, you show your real self.
We are Crew. It means a lot. It means a lot to me now. It means a togetherness, I think, of teacher and students together.
We Are Crew means to me that everyone in the school and even out of school is family.
For me, crew means to be part of a team, that we're all on the same boat, all on the same page, and if someone falls behind, it's our responsibility to make sure that they are on the same level as us.
And it's so much more than a form class that I've had in other schools, because it's smaller and it's a lot more intense, and we have the time and the space to explore the relationships that we need to build, I think.
The key thing about Outward Bound and school is that it's not separate. We don't go outward bound and go, wasn't that amazing, and then come into school and do something completely different. It's an absolute continuation of work. So when we're outward bound, we ask the question, what is Crew? We talk about character traits during every activity, reflect on character traits after every activity, and then when they come back into the lessons, we do exactly the same. So students who have experienced those challenging experiences outside experience challenging experiences inside the classroom.
Okay, do you think you can do that, Chandra? Feeling brave? Let's do it. You can do it! You can do it! Hold on to the bridge.
I feel that character traits are part of our DNA. They're everything we do, and we frame all of our thinking, our discussions, our curriculum around those character traits.
They talk about their character traits as that they follow them. They say our character traits follow us wherever we go, because they become who we are.
It's culture, and the fact that these kids and these staff care about each other and believe in each other and want each other to succeed. And that's a community in the truest sense of the word. Crew, therefore, has a significant impact on students' success, not just while they're at the school, but also in the future. Check out some of our ex-students who have acted as student coaches and listen to them reflect on their time at XP and why they wanted to give something back to the school.
I think the way we did a lot of our independent study, like doing our own learning, has helped the transition to studying at A-level, because it's more independent, but we've already got them skills to be able to do it, and we already made our own revision timetables, so we can just use those skills now to help us even more.
Yeah, I'd say it definitely enables belief in yourself, because you know that you can achieve your goals and what you've set out to achieve.
Yeah, because we've had that sort of time before, and obviously when you're applying for university you've got to do interviews, so they give you how to talk to people, how to talk like an adult.
We've had a lot of practice of talking to people that we're not very familiar with at XP, doing the presentations of learnings and doing even doing student-led conferences.
I think that's definitely, looking towards the university now, that's really important. I think seeing these academics and these professionals in their field who are going to be interviewing you is quite scary sometimes. So I think having the confidence to realise that actually it's not as big a hurdle as you think. It's actually, it just feels normal.
With character growth, as I talked about earlier, when I got on the coach to Wales, I had a panic attack because I didn't know anybody, and I showed courage and got on, and then I really enjoyed it when I got there. As I mentioned earlier, I do presentations of learnings and ambassador tours and things like that now.
I feel like I've developed a lot more confidence, and that's helped me feel more comfortable about going to university. So when I've been considering universities, I've not felt like I need to stay too close to home or go to a certain one. I feel it's given me a lot more choice of what I want to do.
I'd say that I think being an XP made me realise that helping other people is very important, especially in learning, because if you work collaboratively, it enables you to progress further yourself.
Yeah.
So I think that's important to teach to people who might not have realised that yet.
I think as well as this, like, because we were the first year ever in the school, like, we didn't have the opportunities, and it'd be nice to give something back that other people can have the opportunities.
I think especially for this year group, they're in the same boat that we are in, that they've missed almost a full year's worth of learning. So it's really important now more than ever to sort of give back and try and fill in the gaps in their knowledge with what we still, I mean, loads of us still use lots of our GCSEs. I mean, we're all doing sort of sciences, and I mean, I'm doing more creative subjects, but I'm still doing some science. So it is really important to sort of use that to help those guys and give them that sort of stepping board that we had up to college and A-levels.
So, we expect our students to develop good habits of work and learning through working hard, getting smart and being kind. Our focus on building character through public presentations and celebrations of learning has a direct impact on the academic success of students in the school, but more importantly, students when they leave XP are mature, confident and ready for their next steps. Importantly, we do not segregate our students on prior attainment or any other basis. Our crews are made up of 12 or 13 students, and each class for academic lessons is 25. This is fundamental to ensuring the success of everyone. Students come to understand that their community is stronger because of their differences. Students that struggle with reading get to be around fluent readers all day. We do not track students into pathways that focus on the head or the hand and limit the breadth of our students' experiences or development. All of our students do challenging academic work, and they craft beautiful artefacts. In addition, we expect students to own their learning and present to parents and others the learning they have mastered and what they still need to grapple with to improve further. One of the ways we do this is through student-led conferences, where students talk about and show their learning to parents, discussing their successes and challenges and making pledges for further improvement.
At XP, student-led conferences replace the traditional parents' evenings. These take place twice a year and allow students to showcase their work to their families and teachers. Planning the content of the SLC is the responsibility of the student, and they lead their conference from start to finish. This film will look at some of the topics that are discussed in the SLCs.
I'd like to welcome you to my SLC, and I'll be talking about STEM and humanities and arts, my crew, my howls, and support required.
This is a piece of humanities I'm most proud of, and it's my species narrative. So I think this because I feel I've really used the rubric for it, and I've worked really hard and carefully chosen the language like meta.
And what's the rubric? Explain to me what the rubric is.
I think I have.
Right, okay.
My Meg is 4.0, so it would be excellent. So to achieve all of these, to achieve your
Right, okay.
We also, for pottery car, we also got a certain species that can be seen in pottery car. We had to do research about the species and produce a first-person narrative about the species in the scientific writing, which included like the adaptations of the species and different like how it looks and its diet and all that, and how it fits into food chain, because that's one of the other things within STEM, which was food chain, the species food chain.
The purpose of the scientific writing and the narrative is that we're going to put it into a book with our lino print. So, and that book's going to be sold at Pottery Car for the whole public.
Fantastic.
We have these things called howls, which are habits of work and learning. So a howl I sometimes do
is probably work hard because I get distracted a lot. And I get off task and try to knuckle down, but sometimes it don't work. So, and how I always try and do is get smart because I ask questions to try and help me in class.
Support that I may need from like XP, because I don't need anything from like family. From XP's like building my confidence.
Well, I'd just like to say thank you again for coming, and we've got no more questions, I think.
Another way that students present their learning is through passage presentations, which students do in Year 9. They present their growth, both in terms of their learning and their character, to a wider audience consisting of their parents, members of the community and teachers, to explain why they feel they're ready to start to take their GCSEs.
Everything builds towards Year 9 when students prepare among themselves for their passage presentation, a showcase of their best work since joining XP. It's pass or fail, and you can retake it until you get it. Students explain to a panel made up of their crew leader, staff, a community representative and family why they are now ready to embark on their journey to GCSEs.
Kelly, we're really looking forward to this.
Should be.
Should be.
I admit I'm incredibly nervous to begin this journey, but I need to put more faith in myself first. If I believe in myself instead of putting myself down, thinking I'm terrible, when in reality I'm actually decent at stuff.
Don't ever think that you can't be who you are, because you are a wonderful young lady. I'm absolutely delighted to say you've totally smashed that. You have passed your passage presentation. Thank you. Can we round of applause?
I think crew has helped a lot because, as it was said in my passage, I didn't actually talk for the first few months, so I had to push myself out of the said comfort zone and speak.
Absolutely blown away. I'm so proud of her, aren't we? Never seen anything like it on a 13-year-old girl.
Yeah, she's a completely different kid to what she was.
It is really emotional, and especially because I have been with Alice since day one. So, I've been a crew leader since Year 7. I'll be crew leader for her until she leaves, and it just helps us to form those really special bonds. So in a way, her journey is my journey as well.
It's just powerful work, that. It's why we're so in love with the work we do. It's really tough. It's really hard work, but when you're working with students who, all kids have got their own stories.
As you can see, we are really proud of our school. We have had great success at GCSE, and in our last Ofsted inspection we were rated outstanding in all areas. But XP and XP East is so much more than that, and we hope that you will consider applying so that we can work together to change education for the better. I also hope that we've answered all your questions. If not, feel free to visit our frequently asked questions page on both XP and XP East's websites. Thank you for listening, and we hope to see you soon. Best wishes and good night.